right, y'all. Y'all know the drill. I got some shit to say, and y'all got the ears to listen. Now, like all the videos I've made so far, this one is pretty important. Just like the last one, and the last one, and the one before that. All right. Today I'm going to talk to y'all about how self reflection leads self improvement. This is going to be pretty short, or at least I'm going to try to keep it short. I have some points here on my phone, as usual, because my ass is going to forget what the hell I'm trying to talk about if I try to just completely go off the dome. Or I'm going to go off track and forget what I was saying and, do all this other crazy stuff. So I'm going to just get right into it. First thing first, you got to be critical about yourself. If you're trying to self-improve. So first I'm going to say this. If you're looking to improve yourself, you have to know how to self-reflect. Nobody can make, and then here's the thing. Anybody can make self-improvements, but there's different types of it. You have shitty levels of self-improvement, and then you have quality self-improvement. You want the quality. Okay, well, how do I get quality? Well, you can't pull quality out your ass. You have to take time to get quality. How do you take time to get quality? Quality comes from how you self-reflect that leads you to the solutions that you need to make to get to improving yourself. Those solutions will be the self-improvement aspect. So, okay, well, what's self-reflection? Self-reflection is when you are looking within yourself to find what could be changed to better yourself down the road. And this is a really difficult thing to do because most people don't want to take the time out to do that. And the reason why is because when you look within yourself and you look at all your flaws and the things that you knew you probably was doing towards other people or whatever that was not so good, it's hard for people to come to terms with that. So they want to ignore it. Well, how do people ignore it? They just act like it's not there. They convince themselves that they're perfectly fine. There's nothing that they have to change. And so they continue down this cycle of rebirth of doing the same shit over and over again to other people, thinking that it's just people who have a problem with them, but they're not actually a problem. They just think people have a problem with them and they don't know why. Or they don't think it's really them as the problem. They think they're the problem. So you have to be really critical with yourself. You have to look at yourself and say, okay, based on the things I've heard from people and the things that I know about myself that could be a bit annoying or fucked up or stupid, you take that and you write it down. You say, or you just make a mental note and you say, okay, these are the things that I'm pretty sure can be problematic. If you tend to word things in a way that tend to give people a negative reaction from you, whether it's like maybe they feel like you're being disrespectful, or maybe you have a bad habit of being messy, anything like that, to improving yourself, you have to be honest with yourself and critical and say, okay, well, this is something that I do. I accept that this is something that I tend to do habitually. Now, how can I go about changing that? And it bothers people. It bothers people to admit that. A lot of people don't even accept the fact that they do some fuck shit. They just, because again, it comes back to, I don't want to bring about, because the moment you accept it, that means that you have now acknowledged it into your reality. People don't want to live in reality. A lot of people rather stay in fucking fantasy land. This is not fantasy fucking football. This ain't goddamn fantasy land. We are not on the goddamn Teletubbies. Your ass needs to look at yourself in the goddamn mirror. So if you need 2 mirrors, buy yourself 2 mirrors. Go to Bath and Body Works or Bed Bath and Beyond or some shit. They probably got some mirrors. So be critical. You need to be critical about yourself. Kind of like how a stranger would, if you ask a stranger to look at you and just and for them to tell you their opinion of you just off the rip, not knowing a damn thing about you, they're going to give you their raw thoughts because they don't have nothing to gain or to lose. That's how you should be thinking of yourself. Like a stranger that will look at you and say, or hear you behave or see how you behave and say, you know, you do that a lot. And that's annoying. You got to be really critical about yourself. The second one, next thing, and this is in no order, by the way, unbiased opinions from other people. So as you're trying to self-reflect, sometimes you may need an unbiased opinion because you're not going to see everything within yourself to know, okay, this is something that I need to make a change on. Guys, I'm gonna be very abundantly clear. If you want to become the type of man that you can be proud of, you have to do this shit. There's no way around this. You can't, you know, there's no shortcuts. Every person that you see or you idolize, they had to do some hard ass, looks in the mirror. They had to make a lot of changes within their lifestyle and their behaviors to get to where the fuck they want to be. You can't make shortcuts and not do things like reflecting on yourself and making self improvements if you just can't. This can't be skipped. I don't know why some of y'all think change is important. This elicits change. You're going to change. There is no way around it. You don't wake up the same way in your bed every fucking morning. You don't breathe the same amount of air every fucking day. It's always changing. Your cells die and you get new cells all the fucking time throughout your life. You are constantly changing. As you age, that is change. As you blink, all of this shit is change. So for a lot of younger people, they feel like it's a problem to change. That's the whole that's how you get to where you fucking want to be. You have to change. You can't be the same way. Like just the same fucking note your whole life. If that's all you want to be, then you have no value. You the same value. You was worth $1, you will be worth $1 years later. That's not worth shit. People who make change, they come from being $1 to being worth millions. And when I say millions, I mean not literally money, but I mean just in who they are as a person, they're worth a lot. That by itself is valuable, but they can't have valuable characteristics if they don't, put in the work to make the changes to have that valuable personality and characteristics that people will know and love. Period, point blank. You have to make change. Anytime you complain about change or you don't fucking feel like it, just think about that fucking note. If you don't want to be that, make your goddamn change. But like I said, unbiased opinions from other people. This is where you look for people who you have confidence that will tell you the cold hard truth. Not somebody who's just going to be a flat out asshole and find humor or fun in just being a dick. These people, that's not who we looking for. We looking for people who's going to be genuinely honest, but respectful at the same time. So if your parents going to be biased as hell because that's your kid, they're your parents or whatever, then that's not people you need to be talking to. If your friends going to be biased as hell, that's not people you need to be talking to. But a therapist, wow, look at that. It's coming right back down full circle again. See? You see how all that shit ties in? Having a fucking therapist, because this is how you start to improve yourself. This is how they all come together. A therapist helps you with self-improvement. I talked about that. This is that process. Having unbiased opinions about you so that you can have a better look at yourself to make the proper improvements in the right places. This is why you need to find the right type of therapist, because these are the people, or this is the type of person who's going to help you make the changes you need to make. Unbiased opinions. If you have people outside of a therapist to give you raw perspectives of how they really view you, that's good too. Nothing wrong with that. But if you don't have nobody like that, or you ain't got no friends like that, or you don't know nobody who's going to be straight up bluntly honest with you, then this is where therapist comes in. This is the importance of having one. All right, next, Be honest with yourself. I already said that. You can't be critical if you're not honest. You can't be sitting over here fucking lying to yourself, talking about some, oh, I'm not that messy when your fucking house look like a pigsty. You know what I'm saying? You got to be real with what you know you're doing or what you think you're doing that can be causing a negative effect in your life, whether it's causing you to have more anxiety or depression or whatever case may be. You need to also, the next thing is you need to also accept that change is uncomfortable. It's never going to be comfortable. Never. When you go to a new job, when you do that interview and whatever, and you get that new job and you start that new job on the first day, a lot of people, they'll tell you they feel anxious. I still will feel anxious on a new job because you don't know what it's going to entail. Yeah, you may be happy about to make more money, but you don't know what it's going to entail. You don't know if you're going to even have the fucking job a year later. You might get your ass fired because you ain't qualified. Who knows? But that's the whole point in change. You don't know what can happen. There's still going to be a shroud of mystery, and you're never going to be guaranteed 100% anything. There's always going to be a level of we don't know which way this shit could go. And you have to be willing to accept that and say, well, this is part of life. Not everything that I'm going to do is going to give me, tell me what's at the end of the tunnel. I'm only going to know what's at the end of the tunnel when I get there. That's the whole point of change. Sometimes change, that's what it gives you. And you have to be willing to be confident enough to take that head on. You can't be scared of that shit. This is why, a lot of people get stuck where they are. You got to be willing to do new shit. You can't keep fucking second guessing. You can't keep telling yourself, oh, I don't think I'm. Just fucking try. You just never fucking know. You have to be willing to accept that things is going to be uncomfortable. It sucks. That's just the way it is. Guys, if you are trying to be the type of man you want to be for yourself and for your future girl or whoever it may be, you got to be willing to live in a world of being uncomfortable. That's just, they have a saying in the military when I used to be in, when I used to go through training and stuff, and we would be dealing with bullshit like standing in the motherfucking rain and shit. That shit sucked. But I remember one of the guys, the drill sergeants, he would be like, embrace the suck. You got to embrace that shit. Cause when you ever, like, for the people who actually been through this shit, you ever went through something that was hard and it took months or whatever, however long it took, maybe a whole day or whatever. And then when you finally achieve that goal, you look back and you start to have appreciation. You're like, man, I remember when I was, all them sleepless nights and all that time I spent, all them hours I spent doing X, Y, Z to get to this point. You want to know why you feel that appreciation? Because you admire the fact that you went through all that hell to get to heaven. And that's, the thing that people love the most, even though you don't love it in the midst of it, is the journey. The journey is much more enjoyable to look back on than the actual achievement. Because once you get the achievement, you're like, all right, cool, it's over, right? You're happy you got whatever you was trying to get. But that journey is something you can always reflect on and say, damn, man, I remember when I was up all them nights, sleepless nights and shit, thinking about this, doing that, trying to get this till I can get to this point. The journey, like anytime when people write books and shit and they talk about their life and stuff, they're talking about the journey to what they was from a child or whatever, if it was an autobiography or whatever, to who they are today. And that journey is what makes the book valuable. People reading about that journey, the things that they go through to get to the point where they are, how it made them who they are today. That is called the journey. The journey is the most valuable aspect. Anybody can always talk about the achievement. You make $5 million, but when you look back before you made $5 million and you look back like, man, I remember when I was broke and I was spending every dollar investing in this business and I didn't know which way it was gonna fucking turn. You know what I'm saying? And I remember all them nights when I was stressing. Like, that's that journey aspect, and you find appreciation in that. So that's what I talk about when I say embrace the uncomfortable. A lot of people go through that stuff and then they reach the point that where they wanted to be, and then they look back and they're like, damn, that was amazing. That's just how it be. You be like, man, that shit sucked, but I'm glad I am where I'm at now. I'm glad I went through that. And it makes you, it builds character too. People who, from my personal experience, the best people I've met in my life were people who went through hell. They tend to be the funniest ones. They tend to be the coolest ones. They tend to be so grounded and level-headed because They know what it's like to live a tough life. You know what I'm saying? They know what it's like to go through hell. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying you gotta look to be that type of person, but that comes over time when you go through tough experiences and life experiences in your life. So be willing to embrace this up. Next thing, focus less on the what ifs and negatives and more on the positives and the growth. A lot of y'all psych yourselves out, and I used to be like this too. On like, oh, well, what if this happened? Oh, what if this happened? Or what if somebody says this? Worrying about all this shit, and then it scares you from doing something. Now you don't want to fucking do it because you worried about a potential keyboard warrior 3 years down the road saying some shit that's gonna hurt your feelings. Who gives a fuck, man? It may never even come. Like, stop worrying about the what ifs. You could make considerations for it. You could say, okay, there's a chance this can happen. You could consider the negatives and say, okay, there's a chance this can happen. There's a chance I can go bankrupt. There's a chance that somebody will fucking drop kick me. There's a chance that I might get punched. Somebody might punch my teeth out. You don't know what's going to happen, but that shouldn't deter you from trying to achieve what you want to achieve. This separates the 99 from the 1%. The 1% of people, the people who thought about these negatives had to deal with the same fears, but they persevered and probably didn't have to even deal with it. It just depends on what you're trying to, achieve. So focus less on the what ifs and the negatives and focus more on the positive, the growth, what you can gain out of it. Is that gain that you're going to get more important than, more valuable than the things you're going to struggle from. So don't be going through hell for some goddamn bullshit. If you're going to go through hell for something that's going to really give you something of value, whether it's a better outlook on life, maybe better habits, whatever the case may be, something that you feel like it's worth putting in the effort. Last thing I put here is actually fucking take action on it. You could go through all this, do all this self-reflecting and sitting on the goddamn chair and thinking about life and shit. But if you never take action on this, none of this fucking matters. None of this. How the fuck you think I'm on making this goddamn video? If I'm just gonna fucking sit here and just think, I could make a video on this, and I could make a video on that, and I could do this, and I could do that, and maybe it'll be great, or maybe it won't. If I always thought about it, but I never put it to, put the thoughts to paper, then why? Who gives a fuck? There's no results to show. There's nothing that I did to really, make that change. This is the change. This is the change. Whether it's a goddamn video, whether it's a new business, whatever it may be, you have to, don't keep talking about it. Perform. Perform is the best way to get you to, elicit that change you seek. You need to stop fucking talking about shit. Stop telling people, oh, I'm going to do this, or I'm about to do that, or I'm going to do this. You could talk about it. There's nothing wrong with that, but you should actually be trying to put things into place and actually start trying to get whatever you're saying that you're going to get done. Don't fucking say you're going to do something like study for something that you never fucking study for it. Don't fucking say you're going to start hitting the gym and it's been 3 months and you still haven't hit the gym. If you're going to say that you're going to do something, actually be about doing that. I never try to say shit that I'm going to do and I never do it. If I say I'm going to go travel, then I'm going to fucking travel. Even if I don't fucking feel like it. I just try to stick to my words. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes if you have to backtrack, you have to. That's just part of life. But most times if you're going to put it out there that this is what you're going to do, you need to stick with that. You know what I'm saying? And this is also pretty important. What I just said with what you say out there and what you saying you're willing to do. You need to stick by that unless it's necessary to make a different, perform differently. Especially in a relationship. Don't tell your girl you gonna do something and then backtrack. That don't look good on you. It affects your credibility over time. If you say you're gonna do something, stick by that. If you say that if she ever fucking disrespectful you gonna leave, then stick by that. Don't do the opposite because it's gonna destroy your credibility. It's gonna destroy your level of respect you have with that person. And this goes for anybody, not just a girl. This can go for dudes too. If you fucking tell your friends you gonna fucking hang out with them on such and such day, They make plans, they ready to go, and then you never show up or you cancel, backtrack unless it was absolutely necessary. It's gonna affect your, credibility. They're not. It's gonna lower their respect for you. You want to make people have confidence in what you say and what you're willing to do. You know what I'm saying? When you tell somebody you're gonna do something, you want them to have confidence that you're gonna get that done. So commit to change. Don't be fucking afraid to change. Stop being fucking afraid of the uncomfortable situations that you may have to go through, and stop worrying about the goddamn what ifs and the negatives, and actually fucking take action on shit. Nobody likes somebody who just runs their fucking mouth. Nobody cares about that. Take action on the shit. That's the people that ends up being admired the most. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all listening. Get on y'all fucking shit, y'all. Especially y'all brothers out there. Don't be fucking bullshitting, sitting down, eating chips all fucking day, playing the goddamn game. You should be doing something goddamn productive. Whether it's school, studying for a goddamn cert, something that's going to improve you down the road. You need to be fucking doing that. You need to make time at least an hour or two a day to be trying to do that. Stop fucking playing the game for 7 hours, but you don't want to make no time at least an hour to do something else. Play the game for 6 hours and spend 1 hour studying on doing whatever the fuck you have to do. Stop fucking bullshitting. All right. I'll talk to y'all later.